1,179 days. That's how long it's been since the last time I made an update video about me still being a virgin. And the reason it's been so long is because I am no longer... I'm just kidding. I'm still a virgin. I had to do that for the suspense because I've gotten so many comments on my last two videos because it's been more than 3 years asking, Patrick, are you still a virgin? Are you still a virgin? All this stuff. Yes, I am still a virgin. I am still waiting until marriage. And no, the goal is not to just indefinitely make these videos where I every year say, I'm another year older and I'm still a virgin through the rest of my life. My goal is absolutely to get married. Goal is a weird word to use for that. I really should just say like, I absolutely want to be married. I want to have a wife and kids. Like having a family is something that is deeply important to me. But I'm getting ahead of myself. In case we've never met before, my name is Patrick Lyons. I used to make these videos annually on my birthday, giving an update about the fact that I am still a virgin, and I want to talk about why I'm a virgin and kind of address some of the points that have been made on my videos over the thousands of comments that have been left over the last several years. First and foremost, I have to say, thank you guys so much for engaging in such in-depth dialogue. It has been so powerful to read your testimonials, your stories, your concerns, that sort of thing. And I'm gonna address as much of that as possible, but really come from a standpoint of like why I'm choosing to wait until marriage, what virginity means to me, and all that. So, just to put it out there, first and foremost, I am waiting until marriage because I believe that sex is meant to be an act shared between man and wife, and that can only happen when you were married. So that pretty much requires waiting until marriage. That is why I am a virgin. In terms of why I am choosing to wait until marriage, the number one most important thing for me in that regard is religion. I am Catholic, I've been Catholic my entire life, and I devoutly believe in God, believe in the sanctity of marriage, and believe in the sanctity of the act of sex. And I believe that again, that is something that is only reserved for man and wife to share together upon getting married. That's the simplest reason why it literally says in the Bible that you are not to have sex out of wedlock. So I am waiting until wedlock, when I'm locked into being wed. I don't know, I just felt like I needed to add some levity to that statement. But that said, it's like, I get so many people who ask me like, but aren't you just curious what it's like? And don't you feel like you have to experience that first before you can know if someone is your person, before you can know if that's the person you're meant to marry? And the short answer is no, I don't believe that that is a necessary thing to experience before you've gotten married. You can be intimate with a person in so many ways without having sex with them. Like being open and vulnerable and honest and sharing your full self with a person is such an act of intimacy. And that's something that excites me so much. And along those lines, I should mention, I have dated a lot over the last 3.5 years, or however long it's been since October 20th, 2021, 1,179 days ago. I've dated a lot, more than I ever have in my entire life. And so I've met amazing women, just not my person, not the person who was meant to be my forever person. And I've been able to share intimate moments with them, basically sharing my full self, my vulnerabilities, my transparencies, my eccentricities, my personality, my passions, and vice versa. They've been able to share those things with me, and that has led to such great connections. I was about to say deep connections, and to a degree, yes, but like clearly it wasn't a deep enough connection because I'm not still with that person or with those people that I've crossed paths with. But I'm grateful for each and every one of them because every single person who I've dated has taught me something about myself, and I hopefully have taught them something about themselves. I believe that every relationship that happens in our life, whether it be a friendship, a companionship, a deep relationship, and then ultimately marriage, has a purpose in your life. That God basically put these people in our lives for a reason, allowed them into our lives for a reason, and so I'm always there to make the most of those relationships. And so, getting back to the point that I'm making though about not needing to have sex before marriage to understand if you're deeply connected with someone, like if that is the reason why you are connected with a person, that's not your person. Like that is just either a physically intimate relationship or lust or just a manifestation of carnal desires and nothing more. And so I believe firmly that you can know with confidence that someone is your person without having sex, because that is meant to be something that you get to share as a very, very special thing on your wedding night or whenever you choose to have sex for the first time. So that's addressing that point. Then comes the question that is very common is, do you ever like run into problems when dating because of the fact that you are waiting until marriage? And the short answer is yes, absolutely. Like, in this modern world of dating we find ourselves in, so many people expect that sex is just part of dating, and in fact it is often a very early part of dating, maybe on the first or the second, the third, or the fourth date even. And for me, that is obviously not the case in any of those dates. So yes, it absolutely is and has been a problem, but really not, because it's also kind of a filtering mechanism. And what I mean is, if someone that I am dating and I get to that point in a relationship or over the course of dating, and that is something that they are expecting, that much, that's totally fine. But if they are expecting it and it is a requirement, that is when things become problematic, because it's like, clearly that's a boundary of mine and I'm not willing to compromise on that. And so like that, there's no hard feelings there. It's just like, if I am going on dates with someone and then that again is revealed to be something that is not gonna work for them, then that person and I aren't gonna work for each other. And so it's just like, hey, still love you as a person, you're great, but this probably isn't gonna work. And then we just either go our separate ways, or we go our separate ways as friends, but don't continue dating, that sort of thing. So I think that's important to realize. Another thing I want to address, because I would say across the like 1,000+ comments I've gotten, the most common thing that people say is that in some way, shape, or form they are not a virgin by choice. And what various commenters have elucidated on, and various people have messaged me privately, is just that like they are a virgin because they lack the confidence to date. Many of the commenters have said they've never been intimate in any way with a person, they've never kissed someone, they've never gone on a date, they've never had a girlfriend, anything like that. And here's the thing I want to say first and foremost: you have nothing to be ashamed of if you have not done or had any of those experiences. Like, there is no set timeline that you need to be operating on to be a good person, to be a faithful person to God, to be a person who will eventually have a wife. Like, I have friends who literally have gotten married in their late 30s, early 40s, 50s, 60s, and guess what? They have thriving marriages now because they know who they are. They're choosing to wait until marriage to share that intimate experience with a person, and then as soon as they find that person, it's like, it's electric, it's magic, and that is the magic and the power of God's timing. That like, we cannot know when that time will come, but when it does, it will be so special. But to address that point directly, if you've never had any of those experiences, the thing that I want to encourage you to do is to explore within yourself and develop a confidence within yourself, because ultimately confidence comes from within. A lot of the commenters who've said they never had those experiences say that it's because of either the way they look or the way they feel about the way that they look. And here's what I want to emphasize there. You can only control your controllables. Like, I was born looking in some way, shape, or form like this. Like, obviously I didn't come out the womb looking like a fitness coach or whatever, but I have these genetics. I cannot change those. What you can change is what you do with the body and the life and the appearance that you were given. So the number one question to ask yourself is, have you optimized everything about your health and fitness that can make your aesthetic appearance, your attractiveness, as high as humanly possible? I'm not saying that you need to be the most attractive human being in the world. We are all dealt different cards. Like, there will always be someone who is more attractive than you, someone who's more attractive than me, someone who's more attractive than probably the most attractive person that you've ever met in your life. There will always be someone who is more attractive. That is not the point here. The point is, have you optimized the things that you can control that directly affect your appearance? So, for example, are you on a regular exercise regimen? Like, are you working out on a very regular basis to where you've built your body to the best version of itself that it can be so that you're healthy? Have you optimized your hygiene to where you are showering 1 or 2 times a day, and you're brushing your teeth regularly, and you're clipping your fingernails, and that you're doing all of those things that will directly affect how you look? Are you properly hydrated? Hydration has a massive effect on like how clear your skin is. Are you showering regularly after exercise to where you're not allowing bacteria in your sweat to lead to the development of acne and things of that nature? Are you not taking anabolic steroids so that you don't develop acne? Like, all of those things matter. Nutrition matters. If you are currently in a habit of eating junk food, pretty much ever, especially on a regular basis, then you are selling yourself short of what your maximum possible attractiveness is. So there are all these things that will affect your outward appearance. And how you outwardly appear will affect how you inwardly feel about yourself, and thus how you carry yourself as you go about your life. Like, when it comes to dating, I will admit, and I don't want this to sound like cocky at all, I'm very confident about the way I carry myself into dates because I know who I am, I know the value that I bring to a relationship, I know the value I bring to the world, and I'm confident in myself insofar as like when I step into that date, of course there's going to be the natural awkward like compromise thing of like, if this person says this thing that they're interested in that I've never even heard of, I'm probably going to be genuinely interested even though it's not currently part of my life. But at the same time, I'm carrying and maintaining my full self in that relationship even from the first date, where like I know who I am, I know what I'm passionate about, and I know the person that I want to be in a relationship and out of a relationship. So that's all to say, working on yourself matters a lot. Then comes the question of how the heck do you actually go and meet these people who you go date? I'm not saying that people are asking me this. I'm just saying like this is probably the next step in this process of figuring out this whole dating to eventually get married, to eventually not be a virgin. I'm not saying that the goal is solely to not be a virgin, but that's, you know, what happens at the end of this whole thing. And so here's what I want to say about that. I have not been on dating apps in like 2.5 years. I found that dating apps were like, personally, one of the worst things in my life. It just led to thoughts of lust, just being completely honest and transparent there. It's like, it so inherently lends itself to the objective physical appearance of the two people that it was like I was inadvertently objectifying these pictures in terms of like, I was just swiping through based on attractiveness. Like, if you're spending half a second making a decision about whether this person could ever be your lifelong partner, like, that's just not the way life works. And I didn't like that. And I didn't like that my brain was so constantly just looking at hundreds and hundreds of different options and just trying to narrow it down to like, who are the most attractive people who also find me attractive. And it was just like, I didn't like it. And it consumed at least an hour of my day every day for a very long time. It led to some meaningful friendships, didn't lead to any long-term relationships, given that I am not in a long-term relationship. So I got off the dating apps like 2.5 years ago, and I had to really go deep within myself to answer the question like, how do I like to meet people? How do I have the best odds possible of meeting someone who is the right fit for me? So again, I have not had the success insofar as like I've not gotten married yet, so clearly I don't have all of the answers. But in terms of how I've met amazing people, gone on amazing dates, and had many hopeful potential opportunities, is mainly through friends of friends and through interests of mine. So if you go to as many things as possible that you can share with friends of friends, whether it be a Friendsgiving, a white elephant, a themed party, a Halloween party, a boat day, going to see an improv show with a group of friends. Like, there's so many different things you can do with friends. And inherently, friends will bring friends along. And that is a great way to meet people who at least have some level of shared interest. Because hopefully, if it is a friend of a friend, there is something about you that connects you. And you can figure out what that is, and you can delve into, you can see if that person might be a good fit for you as a romantic partner. So that is one way. And then the other way is, figure out what your deepest passions are, like the things that you're naturally going to spend your most time doing. And then guess what? When you do those things, there will be other people there who also do the things that you like to do, and those can also be great potential partners. So for me, some of my passions include fitness, like working out in the gym, includes hiking, traveling, going to outdoor events, whether that be going to a boat day, going to a dog meetup at Zilker Park, a kite festival, paddleboarding on the lake. Like, all the things that I enjoy doing, I'm infinitely more likely to meet someone who is a great fit for me there than like at a bar. Because guess what? I don't really ever go to bars. Like, that's not how I want to spend my time. That is not how I want to go on dates. And it's just not likely the place where I'm going to meet my forever person, because my forever person probably doesn't want to spend time at bars anyways. That's something that's really important to come to terms with, because a lot of guys, and I'm sure girls as well, I just haven't directly asked them about it, go to bars to like pick up women. And sure, there are a lot of women there who want to date, who are single, and who are ready to mingle. But are they the right type of person for you? That is an important question to ask yourself. For me, that answer is almost definitely no. Like, I have directly gone to bars with friends, met people there, not friends of friends, but met people at the bar, gone on dates, and it was just like the worst fit possible. It was like, oh, this makes sense. We met at a bar. The way that you spend your time is drinking many, many days of the week, and even if it is only 1 or 2 days a week, you're going out to bars and clubs every weekend. And I don't judge people for doing that. It's just not who I am. It's not how I want to spend my time. And again, that is a good sign that's not how I'm going to meet my person. So super important to come to terms with that. And then, of course, is meeting people at things that are pertaining to your faith. I said at the beginning of this, I am Catholic. I am a devout Catholic. I've been Catholic my entire life. So I love going to things that bring me around other believers. Obviously, the easiest fit would be meeting someone who is also Catholic, because then we have all of these shared things in terms of the specific way we practice, potentially even the church we go to, that sort of thing. So I have kind of tried to meet people in the Catholic world. Again, in all of the different avenues that I've pursued, I've clearly not had the utmost success yet. Still waiting on finding that person, but that is definitely a way. And then by extension, going to things where you can be in a social environment around people who share your faith. What I mean by that is, like, if I just go to Catholic Mass, that's like a sacred time within the week for Catholics. So it's relatively low odds that you're going to go to Mass and then meet someone there, unless you just really, really have the confidence and the calling to go up to someone after Mass and talk to them, which is totally fine. I just haven't found the way in which to do that. But what is significantly easier is if your parish or your church or your cathedral, whatever type of church you go to, has social events. That's an easier way to meet people that share your faith. So for example, if there's like a get-together at an event place, whether it be a restaurant or potentially even a bar or a sports event, those are all great ways where you're like, okay, we all share this thing, we're Catholic, and we get to socialize right now, so we can kind of do a little vibe check, see if this is a good fit or not. So that's a great way. And then finally is things like small groups. Like if you can get together in a Bible study, especially a Bible study that is a mixture of both studying God's Word and social aspect, and potentially a mission-driven, like volunteer-oriented, all those sorts of things. Great way to meet people outside of a formal Mass setting. So those are some of the things that I would consider when you're thinking about who and where to date and all that sort of thing. Maybe I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but the last 3.5 years have been some of the best years of my life. In a different way, they were also 3.5 of the hardest years of my life. You can go watch that video on my YouTube channel about like the legal battle I was in, but they've been the best years of my life insofar as like I have loved the way I've lived my life as a single person. In terms of like, I'm spending my time doing exactly what I want to be doing. Every single week I'm doing improv comedy. I'm acting in improv comedy shows, performing in improv comedy shows, I'm taking classes, I'm watching shows. That's been an absolute blast. I've been traveling, I've hosted multiple retreats in Hawaii that have brought together people from all over the country that share a passion for fitness. I've been delving more and more into my businesses around fitness coaching, teaching the science behind all things fitness to current and aspiring coaches, running my Lyons media business where I create high ROI social media advertisements for brands. Like, I love doing all of those things. I love traveling, and it's just been electric, and I'm just so happy with like the life that I am living, even as a single person. And I have no doubt in my mind that all that time investment is making me into the fullest, best version of myself, so that when I find that right person, they can see in me the man that they need me to be as their partner, and that matters. And so I never want you to feel like if you are single that you are forced to be living some sort of a life that is less than your best life. And I know that could sound cheesy, but like genuinely, whether you are single or in a relationship, that doesn't preclude you from living a wonderful life. But if marriage and if children and a family is in your ultimate kind of life path, and I believe that from the vast majority of us it is and should be, then definitely live your life with a lens toward like, what does that long-term potential look like? Because if that long-term potential is with a wife who shares your faith, who shares your religion, who you can go to mass with, that sort of thing, then make sure that the time that you are investing into the people you're dating right now is worthwhile, that it will get you closer to being with that godly woman or that godly man. And that matters a lot. So yeah, that's all to say. Like, the last 3.5 years have been the best of my life, despite still not having that perfect person, because that is not a requirement at every stage of the journey. It's only a requirement once you're at the point where, you know what, that's my person, I'm all in, they're all in with me, let's do this thing. So hopefully that sheds some light on the perspective around this whole dating thing. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to say, because I've gotten so many comments about it, I'm sorry for not mentioning it earlier, the concept of being a born-again virgin. Some people have said that they really love that idea, some people have said that that doesn't exist, but I need you to know this. Virginity is, yes, a religious term, but is also a social construct. And the reason I say that is because you get to decide at any given moment in your life whether you are going to live the foreseeable future as a virgin or not. And that's what I mean by being a born-again virgin. Like, you can't change your past. That's already happened. And there is nothing to be ashamed of if you have already had sex. Guess what? God is willing to forgive you for all of your sins as long as you make a firm purpose of amendment, you are genuinely sorry for your sins, you're asking for forgiveness, you're confessing your sins to God, that sort of thing. So if that has already happened, that is in the past, and hopefully you have asked for forgiveness, you've gone to confession, you've done your penance for that sort of thing. And then now, from now into the future, you get to decide how you live your life. And so I strongly, strongly encourage you, regardless of how many partners you've had, and how shameful you are or are not for your past. Like, that is not what this is about. You get to choose if you're going to save yourself for whoever your forever life partner is from this moment forward. That is what it means to be a born-again virgin. I firmly believe that that matters, and when it comes to my partner, I'm completely okay with someone who has had sex before. Just to put it bluntly, like, if someone is down to be a born-again virgin and wait with me until we get married, that is what matters to me, because that is obviously my boundary. I'm not breaking that, and so if someone is willing to wait until marriage with me, regardless of what their past has held, then I'm here for it, I'm excited for it, and I have absolutely no judgment for your past, and I encourage you to do the same. If you guys have any other questions about my life with virginity, that sounds weird, my life with virginity. I guess that is a proper term to say. But yeah, if you have any questions about, like, advice on how I've lived life with such a positive mindset while being a virgin and being fully embraced in this idea of waiting until marriage, let me know in the comments, or you can also shoot me a DM on Instagram. I have loved all the conversations I've had the privilege of having, especially on Instagram over the last, like, 3+ years. I love talking about this stuff, and above all, I can't tell you how much it means to me to connect with all of you who are so open and telling of your own stories, whether in the comments here on YouTube or in, you know, private conversations on Instagram. Like, I really, truly appreciate you opening up yourself to me and to the world, and just being vulnerable with your own story, because it's not always easy to share, but it matters. You gotta put yourself out there at some point. And along those lines, if you heard the things that I talked about and you resonated with it, and either you want me to be looking out for someone who could be the right fit for you as a partner, please let me know, and I'll keep you in my prayers, and I'll definitely keep my my radar active for people. Or if you know someone who you feel like could be a good fit for me, given all of the things that I've just talked about, let me know. I am open to anything at this point, and not in like a desperate way, but just genuinely, if this is the avenue through which I meet my wife, hello to my wife directly, or hello to the person who will then introduce me maybe to the person who becomes my wife. I am genuinely open and here for it. Hopefully this clears up where things have been at over the last 3.5 years. It's been a great time, and who knows? Low odds, but maybe the 30-year-old video is the update where I say, hey guys, I'm no longer a virgin. That's low odds though, because that's like 9.5 months away, 9 months away-ish, whatever. So that would be very, very low odds. But you know what? Maybe 31, maybe 32. I have no timeline. It doesn't have to be at a specific time. I'm just excited for whenever it happens. All right, that's everything I got. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.